Hello, this is Sheshachalam from Astrology Mysore. Today we are going to discuss a topic which is related to married life and she is my wife Anjana and we both are astrologers. So we both have chosen this profession many years back. So today she has mooted this topic of married life and the effect of different planets. I think that's the point, right?
Right. The placement of each planet in which bhavas will trigger or will disturb the married life.
This is a huge topic actually.
Yeah, it's a very lengthy thing. Let's see if we can cover at least 2-3 planets.
We'll cover most of the planets, but the thing is that we will be going, you know, see, the thing is that if we tell what is going to happen, it will be very easy to tell. But if we are going to tell that why is it happening, why for this particular planet, the why has a lengthy answer. So, what is going to happen, when it is going to happen, is all predictions which can be given in one line. But why is it happening like this, and is it going to have any repercussions? There are changes. These things take a lot of time. That is what is analysis.
And also,
Okay, we will see.
and also, like what kind of differences will happen? Like every marriage will not break with one particular reason, right?
Yeah, these things
There
take
are
a lot
so
of time.
many reasons. So each planet has different reasons. It will instigate different reasons, and because of those reasons, the things will not work out. So that is a different thing. It's very easy to say Rahu is there, Saturn is there, so the married life will be disturbed. But why?
What sort of
What
disturbance?
sort of disturbance? What is the problem? Maybe if you understand, maybe if the husband and wife they can understand that these are their shortcomings, and if they work on it, then it's not necessary that every time you have to like go part ways. You can stay
Yeah, you
together.
don't have to. Divorce or separation is not the only solution for every misunderstanding or a debate which happens in a married life between the couple. There are many solutions.
At the end of the day, you really need a companion to share your happiness, your sorrows, or anything, any part of your life. It's very easy to say to be single or to walk out of the marriage, but to stick on it is very difficult. So why always choose the easy way? We can also take some challenges and try to make it work
Yeah,
out.
running away is the most easiest option. I have seen people keep calling me. The most easiest thing for them is to separate, because see, nowadays what has happened is that there is a lot of financial independence. People are all knowledgeable. They have all grown up. They know, they are mature. They have having the skill set to survive. They are already in a profession where they are actually growing together. So because of this financial independence, earlier days when it was not there, people would have the idea to separate, but that was not easy for them because they were not financially independent. So nowadays, financial independence is so much that even for a small argument or a small debate, people will separate, live alone, and this is becoming a trend, but which is not a good trend, because people, before understanding each other itself, they are separating. So okay, tell
So
me
we'll start with the planet, the most important planet.
more before the planets. Let me explain from where should we see the married life.
Right.
Which are the houses which we should actually see, and which are the planets which are more important to observe in a chart? When we are doing the analysis, because this particular channel is for focused particularly for people who actually want to study astrology in detail. So, uh, regarding the houses, the Lagnadipati and the Lagna, that is the ascendant lord and the ascendant itself, very important, because Sayan Shakti, what we tell in Hindi, Sayan Shakti, that is patience, can be seen from the ascendant. The ascendant is aggressive, no doubt he can achieve a lot in many areas in his life, even the married life, if the other person has patience. But what if the other person is also aggressive? So we need to see the character of the person, whether what sort of a solution is good for that particular person for continuation of marriage. So, Lagnadipati and Lagna, that is ascendant Lord and ascendant. The second most important house for married life is the seventh house, that is the opposition to the Lagna, which is known as, opposition means that there is always a person who can set you right, a person who can find your mistakes, a person who can stop you when you are doing something wrong. So that doesn't mean that he is always your enemy. He or she also can be a spouse who is supportive, that he or she knows that you are unnecessarily crossing a boundary or you are not able to do something in your life and you are unnecessarily forcing yourself to do it, and there is a chance that you might fall, you might fail. So what she or he will do is to try to correct you, stop you, and also in case you are going to do a business. So even seventh house is trying to understand the external world with regard to business and professional relationships. It's not that only that we have only the intimate relationship with one person. No, the seventh house and the 12th house are very important, because the seventh house means a transactional relationship with very close people who are very close, the first circle, the second circle, the third circle. The 12th house means relationship with strangers. You get marketing calls, you get people who are ready to sell, anything, anywhere. So they will have to talk to strangers every day. They will not have any relationship with them. So talking to strangers. So if the 7th house and the 12th house are strong in a chart, the married life will be good. That is because the 12th house also is bed comfort, intimate relationship. You are trying to satisfy your five senses there. The 7th house is to understand the person whom you are talking to. Because that person, you don't like people correcting you. Nobody likes people correcting anybody. So they want, they feel that they are right always. Because they think that they have thought a subject before doing anything. They think that they know what they are doing. So when somebody stops, even my wife stops me and she tells that you are not supposed to do this, I will again, it's natural that I will flare and I'll become outrageously aggressive. I will tell, why are you stopping me? Then when I cool down and I ask her why, what actually happened, then she will tell me the real facts, that this is what was going to happen, you should not do it. So then I tell, okay. So if this sort of understanding is there, then married life is to a particular level, it's good. So the 7th house and the 12th house, they have to match. They have to have a good cosmic matching. The 8th house is also very important for married life and sustenance of married life, because the 8th house will be pulling a person towards a particular direction. He'll have the desires to do something. And if it is Tad Viruddha means exactly contrary to the person's interest. If the spouse has a different planet there sitting in the 8th house, which is very contrary to the 8th house placement of the native himself, then the path, the person, both of them will have different paths, different desires. It's very difficult for both of them to agree and settle down in one path, because the other person will be suffering that he or she has not seen that or done that. So this person will suffer if he agrees to her. So she and he will always have the discontentment in their life that they have not chosen the right path. So most of the marriages fail because of this. They do not fail only because of the intimate relationship or the bed comfort, what I was trying to tell you. That is the basic need of the marriage. That also happens. It's not that it doesn't happen, it happens. Let me say 20 to 40% of the marriages get separated very fast only because there is no understanding between them physically. 7th house, we have around 20 to 30% of marriages getting separated because, my parents don't accept you, your parents don't accept me, your sister talks bad to me, my sister is at home, she troubles you. So I'm just talking like this because we all know these things happen in life.
Small things.
Small things. So family related problems. You know why family related problems? For every house, for now I am talking about the seventh house, the eighth house becomes its obstacle. And what is the eighth house? It is the second from the Lagna. And the second from the Lagna is always called as the Kutumba Sthana. And the Kutumba becomes an obstacle to the seventh house, which is the married life. So if a bad planet is sitting in the second house, then the seventh house will not prosper, because there are people who always want to separate. You know, the boy is too much close to his mother.
Mama's boy.
Mama's boy. No wife wants a mama's boy. Yeah, I don't know if anybody are there who are okay with it. You know, females, I'm asking. Please comment if you are okay with your husband being a 24/7 mama's boy. Nobody wants that. So when you try to pull him away, she will be there, you know, to do everything to see that you will not be able to get the whole part of him. So there are so many things which keep happening like this. So what I am trying to tell you here is the places, the placement of planets. The eighth house, extremely important to be seen to understand whether the marriage is going to go through a divorce. The sixth house is also very important to see which planet is trying to dislodge the marriage. So many things are there. It's a little complicated. Let us go through it one by one slowly.
Also, the second and the eighth house will indicate which family is actually trying to separate, whether it is the boy's side or the girl's side. So this is because for both the boy and the girl, second and eighth, it becomes their family, right? Kutumsthana for each of them.
Correct.
So this will clearly indicate. So maybe if you can really work out, if you can stay away from the parent who are not that happy, you being together, so things will work out. So for this, you really need to know whether this is the reason or what is the reason. So many times
So
it
you
happens.
need to analyze both the charts in correlation with regard to the transit, the dasha and the event formation, the intensity of the event, whether the person will be able to understand or not understand. See, that is again the Lagna. So lot of complications. So people, when they keep asking me, when I do my consultations, they keep asking me that, does it take so much time? Obviously it will take time, because we need to do the calculations beforehand. So when we are talking to anybody in our consultations, that doesn't mean that we are doing the calculations on that particular moment. It doesn't happen. So you need to see the chart, go through it, assimilate, then process it with the other chart also, comparative study, and then only we'll understand how to judge the married life, whether it is good, whether it's okay, whether you can carry on, whether the particular time period is very temporary, you can skip that period, show patience, do something, or there are other solutions, like we tell that take a job somewhere else, go out for 2 years, come back, everything else will be fine in your life. So these things also happen, you know, people take a job abroad and they go alone, they come back, family life will be fine, they are happy. So many things are there are many solutions.
It's like we can work it out.
Yeah.
If both the mindset is in a positive frame, so it can be worked out. So now,
tell me, if we have to continue with the planets there.
So the main house is what we are talking here is the second house. The Lagna is there. For every area, the Lagna will be there, because it is the entire thing of the person.
The Lagna, yeah, the body and the person's self.
Strong, aggressive. So that will be playing role in each and every area of life. So here for the marital, along with that, the other houses are, bhavas are second, sixth, seventh, eighth, and 12th. So these many houses are there, which will really be showing.
There are other houses also, like the 11th house, which actually gives rise to sannyasa yoga. But I am not going into that yoga, because it's a beautiful, pure yoga, which is irrespective of whether a person is getting married or not. That will have a very strong effect on the person's character, spiritual nature, and all those things. But I will not go into that sannyasa yoga now. And also, even in the Parakrama yoga in the 3rd house, we know the 3rd and the 11th, which are mirror images. I will not go into that. Sukhasthana, the 4th house, also plays a very important role in married life because of the luxuries what a person would want in life. So if again they contradict, it's a little difficult. There is
That
a very
may,
minor issue of the fifth house, which is actually for children. So I have seen cases. I have seen different cases. It's, very astonishing it is. I have seen people getting married, not having children at all for many years, and then separating. And I have seen people getting married, adopting, leaving the child and the mother, and then separating. I have seen a lot of different kinds of issues.
each and every house is interrelated, but still we'll try to figure out like certain positions. We
Yeah.
can't, everything is interrelated. We
This
can't
will at
differentiate.
least, I think this particular video and this particular series will at least take let's say around 3 to 4 videos. It's okay. I think it's important because if we do not go into details, then it will be difficult for anybody to understand. Tell me.
So now we can start with the planet Sun.
Yeah, Sun. Sun in the ascendant, an excellent position because it is the east. Ascendant is always the east because we know that when the chart is formulated, that is the chart is calculated, the ascendant is the east, the horizon. We see what is the zodiac which is rising in the horizon, and that particular degree has been assigned to the ascendant. So when Sun is in the east, it's a fantastic position, but the opposite to it is not good. Sun usually does not like
Marriage.
marriage. It does not like cohabiting. It does not cohabitation. It does not like people to
Very
stay with
strong and
anybody.
superior
It's a
planet.
very superior planet, and when it becomes weak in the west, it actually sets in the west. That is when the person is born in the evening time, let's say between 5:30 to 7:30. So sun will be somewhere in the seventh house approximately, depending on the it's 5:30 to 7:30. It should be there in India, but not in every other place in the world. It depends, on the longitudes and the latitudes. So what actually is happening here is sun is a very conscious planet, very conscious and an egoistic planet. And when it becomes weak, you know that egoistic people, when they are harmed or when they are humiliated, their ego boosts into a negative ego, and the negative ego is not good for the family life.
It's dangerous also.
It's very dangerous. So what actually happens is that the distance between the spouse, that is the distance between the couple, mostly is because of misunderstanding, silence, and ego. So I have seen many places, in many cases, that engagement happens and it doesn't continue, and you go through, every ritual, and then suddenly marriage breaks off. These things happen when Sun is in the seventh house. Usually, marriage is delayed when Sun is in the seventh house, and it is better to delay it because you need that maturity of the ego. You should understand that ego should not play the major part in the married life, which actually troubles it. So, seventh house, very dangerous for married life. More than that, the eighth house Sun.
Sun.
The inner dark desires, has a conscious planet. It's like putting on the lights. In your most secret place, the lights are on. There is camera also. So that means people are watching. You yourself are very conscious. What actually happens is that a person outrightly becomes very bold. Like he goes to, in the social life, he becomes bold. He wants to tell what he actually wants. He actually becomes very frank, bold, and opinionated. And once again, frank, bold, and opinionated people
Doesn't work in marriages.
don't get married. You are very bold. You are very strong. You are very dominating. You dominate yourself. Why should you dominate somebody else and get that pleasure? So
But it doesn't stop till there, no? It doesn't stop till there.
it doesn't stop till there. They want to rule, they want to rule. That's the problem. So, eighth house Sun is not a good Sun. And once again, consciousness in intimacy is once again not a good thing at all. That is the 12th house. So, Sun in the 12th house, a no for good marital relationship.
Yeah, if both the husband and wife, they have Sun in 12th house, it will work.
No, it will work because they both will be like
Conscious.
very spiritual, or they will be like very adventurous. Both are very like, they both like to camp out. They are good backpackers. So Sun in the 12th house is good. I'm not telling Sun in the 12th house is bad generally. But for the married life,
Suppose one is having Sun in 12th house and another one is having Shukra, that is Venus in 12th house.
Venus in 12th house, they are two conflicting planets. When we do overlapping the charts, when we do that, removing the ascendant, when we do the overlapping, we see that the Sun will sit on Venus. So the Venus, if it is in the same degree, it gets combust. So that means it's virtually not combust, but the thing is that I feel that all my desires are killed because of the spouse who is so dominating that he or she will not allow me to experience any of my liking. So what will happen is it's as good as Venus combust. So when we do the overlapping, it's a very beautiful thing to do that, It's one chart over the other, superimposition what we call. So Venus Sun, as an example, very well put, is totally opposites. So Sun in the 12th house is hopelessly bad. So the three positions for Sun, particularly, Sun in the 6th is extraordinarily good. Don't think that 6th house Sun will spoil marriage. Only for a temporary period, Sun might give some separation due to long journeys or even abroad job or something like that. But it will not separate marriage. Sun in the 6th house is an excellent position for any chart because these people are very competitively good. They know hard work and they respect hard work. They know, many cases I have seen, many cases, not only in India, even in any other countries from where I keep getting calls, except for some open countries like Australia and US. I have seen cases where, the husband takes the wife for granted. This thing doesn't happen when Sun is placed in the 6th house in the husband's chart. He will really respect the amount of work what the wife does at home. He simply doesn't tell this sentence. There is a sentence, what do you keep doing? You always stay at home. So she is ready to go for a job. If what all you know how to wash the utensils, you know how to cook, you know how to wash your clothes, you know how to press it, you know how to take care of the house, because the housekeeping in many cases in India, it is still in such a way that the woman is still restricted to the house. It is still, there is still not good daylight here that the woman has all the liberty to go out and do whatever she wants. So for those people, I'm just telling, you can't take your woman for granted. You can't just tell that you need to do this all the day long and I can do whatever I want. So that particular thing happens if there are benefits in the 6th house. Mind it. But I'm just giving you a clue. But Sun in the 6th house, the person is very open, he is very ready, he is ready to give full opportunity to his wife, or if the wife is there, she is also ready to give full opportunity to this husband. So Sun in the 6th house is good.
Here I would like to add one sentence. We are talking only about the planets in healthy, benefic planets. We are not talking any association or any malefic influence or any
pure planetary placement.
Yeah, we are just talking.
It's not, people should not ask me that if Rahu is there with Sun in the 7th house.
Or if Sun is debilitated. Because things will keep changing.
Lot of manifestations,
it's like lot of permutation combinations are there, but we cannot talk so many.
We can, but anyway, we'll keep talking. We'll keep putting on videos for every combination from the
Saravadi. We're
Saravadi.
talking about only on the pure aspect of a planet, like mostly the positive side.
Yeah.
Like if it is not afflicted, then what?
So next, if I take the other planet, that is the next planet in the row is Moon. So Moon in the 7th house is a beautiful placement. The 8th house, not a good placement. That is because there are many things associated. I will not go into the longevity of the person. But emotionally, the person will be too weak. Can people understand why a person is called emotionally weak? It is because he or she gets perturbed. The mind gets disturbed on certain ethical values of the society. If a person has a strong Mars in the 8th house, he is so bold enough that he is ready to take all the adversities of this world. But a moon, a soft planet like moon in the 8th house, is too emotional. If, for example, I'll just go into the family. If, for example, if the mother-in-law tells something to a daughter-in-law who has moon in the 8th house, she will take it deep into her psychology. She will crib and cry.
She cannot let it out.
She will not let it out because it's the 8th house. 8th house is the dark house. And you have a moon. Moon in the 8th is like a small light. It is not fully conscious. But still the emotions will keep working. Because moon is a reflection of sun. It is not fully sun. Sun is the most brightest thing to ever happen in our solar system. And that is the strongest planet in the solar system. So moon in the 8th house, feeble control over his or her own emotions.
And basically from the female side, because moon denotes
female. Moon denotes female. Yeah, you can also imagine, a husband keep crying and around.
So many people can relate this. Right? You can, and please comment. Please please put it in the comment box if you can really relate like that. So that we also get a feedback.
We get a good acknowledgement, we get motivated.
And another thing is that the other people who are there in line, who are watching, they also will get motivated. Yeah, things are like this, so maybe we can work out.
Correct. So moon, once again, sitting in the 12th house. Not a good placement unless it has a strong benefit sitting along with it. If it is alone in the 12th house, and even if there is a Kemudruma yoga for the moon in the 12th house, that is either side of moon, if there are no planets,
it will detach you completely.
You will be like searching for a support. If your Lagnadipati is weak, you will always be like you want somebody. You want a shoulder or an arm, somebody's help. But if moon is exalted, that only happens in Taurus when it is in the 12th house. And if still there is a Kemudruma yoga, you are totally detached from this world. You are like your own, you have your own ways and means. And emotionally, you are elevated. So people who are emotionally elevated or spiritually elevated, once again, do not need the marriage. So luminaries like moon and sun in the 8th and the 12th houses, a big no for happy married life. What is happy married life? Being blind most of the time. She understands that, being blind, compromising, trying to understand that, yes man, it's not like this, it's something else.
It's not like, you're not saying that only one side, one person has to compromise. See, you need to figure out, in some areas the husband will compromise, in some areas the wife will compromise. If this understanding comes, then I don't think so we will see so many divorces.
No compromise, no marriage.
But it should not be only one side.
Yeah.
So basically, that is the trouble, that only one side will keep on compromising, the other side will keep on ruling and dominating.
See, there are three things for a married life, on a general aspect. Compromising is the first step, let us say. It's the first step, not first point, to keep the marriage stable. Second thing is being neutral. I agree to disagree. So she likes so many things, I'm okay with it. I don't like it, but I'm okay with it. I like many things, and she's okay with it. And her likes and dislikes, I'm okay with it. So she is also okay with my likes and dislikes. So that is agree to disagree. That is the second point, neutral. The third one is the toughest thing to happen. Complementing each other. That is, it's like fortifying the marriage. It is like the handles of the bag. If you don't have a handle for a bag, you have filled the bag, now you don't know how to lift it. So if you want a stable marriage, you need good strong handles. Lift the bag which is filled with your life. All the beautiful memories of marriage.